Hey guys, that's Sciencraft here, and today we are in a world that I have been working on for quite a while. I think by now it's around 3 years. Um, this is a Christmas town. I this year I have added quite a bit and changed quite a bit. Um, for starters, this was probably the worst building that could have possibly been built. It was entirely, they're just flat. There weren't any windows or anything. This roof was made out of dark oak and didn't even stick out at all. It was just, yeah, it wasn't great. I also expanded this quite a bit, so now there are more trees. And I realized that selling Christmas trees isn't going to. It's not a great job for the rest of the year. So, I put a bunch of just random wooden things that it looks like a carpenter might build in here to be sold, and then I also put this door in to get out there. Um, Also, I changed these paths from path blocks to these slabs, which I think most of them were added in 1.14, but they might have been 1.13. I'm not certain. So, for now, I guess let's come over to this branch. This is a candy store that I made just because I felt like making a candy store. You can see it has a bunch of, well, candy in it, and then this counter here. Um, Another thing, I've tried to make it so that you could, like, live in these shops. I succeeded more in some than in others. For instance, here, first, I changed this from just a general shop to supplies because I built that over there, which we will get to later. So, if we come into here, I didn't actually change much in here. And you'll notice I have a texture pack on to change these. I'm actually recording this the Friday before it goes up. In here, this is much nicer than most of the others. If we come up here, we have an actual bedroom with a bookshelf, and I felt like a beehive was a nice fit there. So before, this was uh, the entrance to a mine for all of the coal stuff, and you might have noticed a few of these. I've hidden these around just because, just like as proof that I built this. Because I do not want somebody to upload this without credit. Just, it's a thing that people do. It's not nice. It's essentially plagiarism, but people still do it. So we come over to here. This is the bakery. First off, we have some farms over here: a chicken farm, a cow farm, wheat and sugarcane. So then we come into here, and I have changed up the inside of this. I made the tables different, put these heads around as stuff that would actually be in a bakery. Then we come back here. This is just sort of where all the supplies are. No idea why, but all of the shulker boxes are empty. They emptied themselves in like the version switch, so if you download this, the shulker boxes will be emptied. So yeah, I put the campfires there. I used a debug stick for these before I threw a bunch of charcoal cooking wood. And then in here we have a bunch of coal. And then this is just a way to get out to the farms. Okay. So, up next, we have the blacksmith. This is, I think, the second building I made when I was first building it. The first one was that, because I wanted to build a bunch of Christmas trees, and I felt like a Christmas tree farm, the guy selling Christmas trees, would be the most logical way to do that. So I changed it up quite a bit back here. If you remember last year, I put up a video on this last year. It was terrible back here. I feel like my skills have improved quite a bit. So we have a giant pile of gold, giant pile of iron, a bed and a bookcase. That's basically all that I put in to try and make it livable. This didn't change at all, though. This is the forge. It's got lava there flowing into magma, flowing into gold. And then we have a few blast furnaces, a smithing table, which I felt that once it's given a purpose would fit in a blacksmith, and an anvil. Or I guess it's called a smithery, isn't it? So that's sort of this side of town. This is supposed to be the center, but it's sort of just, it's around here somewhere. Oh yeah, and then in front of the supplies store, I have the manger scene. This hasn't changed at all since last year. So yeah. So we come over to here. This is a giant Christmas tree. So this is, I decided the people of this town might want to eat eventually. So, I built this. This is sort of, it's supposed to be like a rustic little store. It has bread, honey, peanut butter and jelly. There's cheese back here, and then a bunch of spices, and a fireplace. And then this is the room where the store owner sleeps. And then come back to here, and this is the church. I think this carpet is new, and that's about it. I also removed all of the chairs closest to the wall because I was trying to fit in stained glass windows, but they took up too much space with what I was trying to do, and I was running low on time. Then up here we have the pulpit. Has some notes and a book. It's actually this book for armor stands, which you might have noticed there haven't been a whole lot of. In fact, those are the only two in the entire town. So, I think that covers everything here. There's a giant bell. And if you want, I might eventually, like, show, like, how to do this, the smoke. It's something I use whenever I'm building a chimney. But we come back around the giant store, and we have Santa's sleigh here. And then we press the button on his bag, and it teleports us here to an exact replica of Santa's sleigh, which was quite difficult to do, teleporting back and forth. So this is the North Pole. I have probably put a lot more time into this than the other town, which I'm trying to change. I'm planning on eventually populating that town with armor stands, but let's go ahead and start here and then work our way around. So this is the stables where uh, all of the reindeer are kept. I didn't want to put them out here because I didn't want to summon no AI horses. And then this was just something I put here to liven it up. It's just a snowball fight with a bunch of elves. Um, so yeah, a bunch of snow forts. And then in here we have the elf lodging. I think this looks a lot like a radio, so I put it on the bookshelf. It's the loom. I could be completely wrong and thinking of something different, but I don't think I am. This is actually the newest building, and one that I actually just finished yesterday. So this is supposed to be a cafe. It's got a bunch of elves in it just sitting around. This is technically, it's not going to show. But this is on the website that I got these heads from. It's supposed to be coffee. I was looking for hot chocolate, but there weren't any good looking hot chocolate ones. So this elf here is the barista. He's got a coffee grinder, so I guess some of them can be having coffee. Then we have a shelf full of like cakes and spices and chocolate and all sorts of ingredients and stuff. And honestly, I think this is one of my favorites. I think my favorite overall is the Christmas tree farm, just because that's the first one that I built. I also really like that one over there. So that finishes off this side, and then we come over to here. Also, another thing, I changed the candy canes that are holding up the lanterns, because before there weren't any lanterns. So we come into here, and this is the bakery. I haven't really changed anything except for this wall of smokers here, and I made Mrs. Claus. You can't see her very well, but she's in here baking. Let's see, next up, I guess, is here we have another giant tree with a bunch of presents underneath. But if you watched the video from last year, you might remember I didn't have an interior for this. But I came up with an interior for this. I figured I'd go with something simple, something that you might actually be able to do with a gingerbread house. So yeah, it's all one room, not much furniture. And then this is another completely new building. Here, this is just a portal to Santa's bag that all of the presents are sent through. I think this was here last year. So we come into here, and the doors are all fancy. And this is toy testing, research, and development. So I guess let's just look around here. This lighting, I'm not super happy with the way it looks, but it's okay for keeping it lit up. So over here we have a contest between two elves trying to solve a Rubik's Cube. So here is the completed cube, and he's looking at it, confused, scratching his head. Over here we have a giant car, like almost as big as a normal person, with wheels that don't quite touch the ground. I imagine they'll be like blown up or something. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way this turned out. And then over here we have an elf playing Donkey Kong on the Nintendo Switch, which I know this isn't how you use the Switch, but this is pretty much the only head that actually worked for it, and I'm not about to build something bigger than that for the Switch. Side note, yeah, it's displaying it. The redstone doesn't always work for this. I just had an idea as to why it might not work. So, I figured out why it doesn't work. What we're going to do to fix it is pull out a repeater, just stick it there. So, that should fix it. Yep. Then just one more test. Yep. Okay. And yes, I am aware that that is very sloppy redstone, but it's my redstone, so you don't, I hit it. You don't have to look at it, you can't complain. This is another building that was here last year, but was changed. This is the actual workshop. Last year it was made out of concrete and didn't have a roof. It was literally just a box with a chimney poking out the top. But this year it is bricks, it has a smooth quartz roof, and windows, which are new. Even after making it brick, it needed more texture. So yeah, the inside hasn't changed at all. This is the first thing I built in the North Pole. Then here we have another tree. It's actually shorter than most others, just because it's the roof is too short. Then we come up here. This is where the elves put their presents. This is supposed to be a conveyor belt taking them to the back. And it just goes up, around, and drops them into the portal here. So then we just have some more elves making toys. And in this case, a command block. So yeah, that's all that's in here. So then there is one more thing that I want to show you, but this took me a whole day to build, so you'd better appreciate it. This is Santa's house. He has all of the workstations, he has his tools hanging up. He's got a lantern here. The cartography table, I figured he's got to map out a route, so might as well have it. He's got a fridge with a lantern in it. Figured you don't really need much of a fridge in the North Pole. He's got this bed here, and then here he's working on the naughty and nice list. Currently nobody on either of them. Here you can, hold on. There's his face with his quill. And then these two levers. Now, if we come down here, this took me forever to figure out. Not because it's complicated, but because it's two different circuits very close to each other doing that cannot connect. So here, if we pull that lever, you can see it sets off a bunch of fireworks. And then pull it again, it sets off one more round. And then it's done. And then this is much simpler. It's just landing lights. So yeah, bunch of redstone lanterns. Although, sorry, my mouse stopped working. Now that I think about it, he probably doesn't need landing lights. It's, well, I mean, unless... I was going to say, he probably comes back around morning time, so he probably wouldn't need lights, but if it's really snowy or something, if there's a blizzard, which I imagine are fairly common at the North Pole. And there's one more thing here. You might have seen it in the video. I accidentally showed it, but I'm not going to show any more of it. You're going to have to try and find it on your own. It's not huge. If you do find it, then good for you. I just threw it in because I felt like adding something extra, adding in a little secret. And, oh yeah, there is one more thing that just, it's another method of me proving that I made this. So yeah, if you find that, then good for you. Do what the signs say. So yeah, I think that's just about it. Let's finish off in the sleigh here. So, yeah, if you enjoyed, then please leave a like, and if you haven't yet, then subscribe for weekly Minecraft content. The download for this map will be in the description. It's going to be over on Planet Minecraft, so you can download it there. Just explore around. Just, yeah. This is something that, again, I've been working on for quite a while, and I am planning on continuing this project for I don't know how long. Probably gonna be for a few more years. I can still think of more things that I want to do. Like, I want to put mountains around these so that they're not just in a super flat world. I want to populate the other town with armor stands, as I said earlier. So, yeah. So I will see you next week. Bye.